Yesterday, it was announced that a New York State investigation had found that Governor Andrew Cuomo had sexually harassed 11 women, leading to calls for his resignation. Calls coming from the very top. So in this video, let's unpack what happened and how Cuomo went from lauded to disgraced in less than 18 months. If you haven't already, then be sure to subscribe to the channel for more updates like this one going forward. Andrew Cuomo is certainly a notable figure in US politics. Being the governor of one of the country's most populous states certainly puts you on the map, especially when your state is hit hard by a global pandemic and your response catches the headlines. Cuomo certainly had a strong start to 2020, receiving plaudits in Democratic circles and globally. Things began to unravel as the year passed though, with a number of women coming forward to make accusations about the governor. In total, 11 women came forward, with 8 claiming that Cuomo had made offensive, condescending and sexual remarks, 7 saying that he touched or groped them inappropriately, and 4 alleging that the governor kissed them without consent. Those making the allegations also claimed that more generally, Governor Cuomo presided over a hostile and toxic work environment. These allegations were, fortunately and appropriately, taken seriously, with an investigation being launched into Cuomo's actions and the wider state of his office. This investigation has taken over 5 months, with the investigators interviewing more than 200 people, including those who made the original allegations, as well as other staff working under New York's governor. Interviews weren't the only sources used though, with tens of thousands of pictures, documents and messages also being reviewed by investigators to get a true and fair interpretation of what was going on. Having spent 5 months on the process, interviewing and investigating, the team have reached their conclusion, and the state's Attorney General, Letitia James, announced the verdict, that Cuomo had violated both state and federal law. James remarked that the independent investigation has concluded that Governor Andrew Cuomo sexually harassed several women and in doing so broke federal and state law. The investigation's co-lead, June Kim, also weighed in on the topic of the toxic workplace that existed under Cuomo, stating that it was a culture where you could not say no to the governor, and if you upset him or his senior staff, you'd be written off, cast aside, or worse. Cuomo, unsurprisingly, has denied these allegations, remarking in a statement that I want you to know directly from me that I never touched anyone inappropriately or made inappropriate sexual advances. Going on to remark, I am 63 years old. I have lived my entire adult life in the public view. That is just not who I am, and it's not who I have ever been. Many aren't convinced by Cuomo's remarks though, and worryingly for him, that group includes the Commander-in-Chief. When asked what he thought about the situation just hours later, here's what the president had to say.
Are you now calling on him to resign?
Yes.
And if he doesn't resign, do you believe he should be impeached and removed from office?
Let's take one thing at a time here. I think he should resign. I understand that the state legislature may decide to impeach. I don't know that for a fact. I've not read all that data.
So while he was cautious of going too far, Biden made his stance clear. And this makes Cuomo's position even more difficult. Earlier this year, he'd been able to steady the ship by denying and apologizing for past transgressions. But in the light of these revelations and the president's remarks, a president from his own party, well, his position is beginning to look untenable. Nancy Pelosi, someone who's been close to the Cuomo family for more than 40 years, also spoke up yesterday, encouraging the governor's resignation. And even if Cuomo chooses not to heed Biden and Pelosi's advice, he's still up for re-election next year. Having been one of the Democrats' shining lights, the party is now trying to quickly distance themselves, and a number of other candidates have stepped up to replace him as the party's nominee. Not only that, but the Speaker of the New York State Assembly, a body led by the Democrats, announced that the governor no longer had a majority support within the Assembly. And that's important, because it's the New York State Assembly which exclusively has the power to impeach Cuomo. And following an emergency meeting of the Democratic members, the Speaker announced that it's abundantly clear to me that the governor has lost the confidence of the Assembly Democratic majority, and that he can no longer remain in office. If he doesn't withdraw then, it seems that impeachment is very much on the table, and while no timetable for such proceedings have been announced just yet, it's speculated that it could take around a month. But Speaker Hesty did say that we will move expeditiously to conclude our impeachment investigation as quickly as possible. Cuomo might be claiming that the facts are different from what's being portrayed, but with Biden stepping in, a former friend who previously refrained from talking on the issue, it seems that Cuomo's days might be numbered. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when we release future videos like this one. Special thanks to our Patreon backers who make videos like this possible. And if you want to see your name at the end of videos, then you too can back us on Patreon. The link to that is in the description.